GMA cover story, it's a back-to-school checklist for parents and students. Becky Worley is back, along with Dr. Edith Bracho-Sanchez, pediatrician at Columbia University, New York Presbyterian Hospital, and dietitian and nutritionist Maya Feller.
All right, welcome you three. Thank you so much for this, because all these parents that send their kids back to school need a lot of advice, as much as they can get. So Becky, I want to start with you, because kids when they go to school, they hit the ground running when it comes to education. What can parents do to help facilitate their kids' learning?
Well, one of the things we're seeing in the headlines is a real drop in reading scores. And so that's a byproduct of COVID. That's a byproduct of the way we teach reading, phonics versus other styles, the reading wars. We don't need to get into all that. What parents need to know is if you think your child is struggling with reading, be proactive, get involved early, talk to their teacher. You need to figure out what the problem actually is. And in order to do that, you may need some outside help. One suggestion for parents is just to really push any and all books. I used to go to the library and get a stack. Doesn't matter what you want them to read, it's what they want to read. So it doesn't matter if it's a graphic novel, if it's a comic book, if it's Captain Underpants. That was the book that got my son excited.
Reading is reading.
Reading is reading.
So are there any tech items out there that could help?
So let's move up to middle school kids, because so much of learning now is done on laptops or Chromebooks. And you may be suddenly realizing the Chromebook we had last year doesn't work, or that's what happened in our house, or maybe you suddenly just need one. So you don't have to buy new. You can buy one that's refurbished. Often it's just cosmetic issues with the box, with the device, or secondhand. A site that I really like is called backmarket.com. I found an Acer Chromebook for $99 refurbished, and the original price $249. So, you know, these kids are going to beat their tech to death anyway, so you might as well get something that's secondhand. Then the last thing is for teens in high school. If you do one thing to help them, establish a routine to get that phone out of their room every night at bedtime. And if possible, automate it by using the screen time controls so that it automatically turns off. Ours go off at 9:30, and that's a mom. Nope.
The soundtrack just picks up again, Becky. So George and Michael just sent their daughters off to college. Dr. Bracho-Sanchez, my daughter's 4.5. We spent all last year dealing with sickness, colds, coughs, everything. How do you keep your child healthy?
Right, and I have a 2-year-old who's in daycare. This is close to my heart. So you want to make sure, first of all, you're doing good amount of sleep, good nutrition. Those things are always so important, and people forget. So you want to start the night before. Kids of school age need to get at least 10 hours of sleep. That definitely happens if you set an early bedtime, a healthy routine, electronics out of the room. Remember, phones are a privilege. They are not a right. And you want to make sure that you're getting good nutrition, as I said, and you're up to date with your medical care, right? So vaccinations, prescriptions, all the forms that nurses at school need to be able to give those prescriptions, parents often forget, and glasses and dentists are another one you don't want to forget.
Can you walk us through that privilege versus right conversation?
Right. I know. It's like, did she just say that? Yes.
Let's get a little older.
Yeah. So every time that teens come to see me in my practice, I always say that in front of the teen and in front of the parent, because I say to the parents, please make sure that phone is with you by 8 or 9 o'clock. And the teen is like, what? And I'm like, you guys, remember, that is a privilege. It is not a right.
You're a good doctor. I would like to visit you someday.
Anytime, Rebecca.
Well, let's talk more about nutrition. You have some models of healthy meals here.
Yeah, so one of the things that I like to remind folks is that the adults and caregivers are the ones who decide what, where, and when, and the kids decide if and how much. So when we're thinking about packing lunches, I love to say the most nutritious lunch that your child will eat is the one that you should pack. If the kid is in a lunchroom situation, I know that there's so much excitement there. That's the time of day when they've got all this autonomy. That can be a conversation between the adult and the child about how to navigate that lunchroom situation. What is your plan for eating, and what's your plan for socializing? But again, they're out of our eyesight, so remember, the kid is going to decide if and how much. That's hard for us to step back and be like, oh my gosh, they're not eating. They will eventually. Deep breaths for the parents out there.
How about snacks?
So yeah, you know, I think that snacks are a great way to bridge the gap between meal times. I love to see nice sources of protein, especially for plant and animals. For kids who eat meat, meat sticks are wonderful. I also love to see fruits and veggies because you're going to get lots of vitamins and minerals. They're easy to eat, things like cuties and halos. They're super packable. Berries, nuts, and seeds for kids who have no intolerances.
We finally have a question from Layla, one of our writers, about lunchtime.
Oh, yes.
My daughter just started kindergarten and she's not eating all of her lunch. When I asked her why, she said that it's because she doesn't have enough time. How can I get her to eat more during her 20-minute lunch window?
Layla, that is a fantastic question. It's something that comes up in my practice all the time. What I like to remind parents is that this is an opportunity for continued conversation. Talking to your kid about what they want in their lunch, as well as what their plan is for navigating that situation. If your kid is like, I want a sandwich, then you pack the sandwich that you know they will like. It's not a time for new introductions of things that are foreign. Really give them what they want to eat, and then if they don't eat it, let them have it after school.
A lot of good advice there.
Don't experiment on your kids.
No, do not experiment.
And you're like, why'd you bring it back? It wasn't that good. Wasn't that good? Thank all three. That's very helpful advice from all three of you. Thank you all so much. We really appreciate it.
Well, hey there, GMA fans. Robin Roberts here. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Lots of great stuff here. So go on, click the subscribe button right over here to get more of awesome videos and content from GMA every day, anytime. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.